I heard my daughter say, "She won't survive another winter." Her voice small and cracked with worry, drifting down the hallway like a ghost she thought no one could see, and she didn't know I was standing right there, close enough to feel every syllable land on my skin like ice. Before I pull you all the way into the storm that tore my life apart, and the slow, stubborn climb back out of it, I want to gently ask you to subscribe to this channel and tap the like button if anything I say hits home. These stories come out every single day. Real women, real heartbreak, real comebacks. And if you've ever loved someone with everything you had, watched it slip away, and still found a way to stand up again, you belong here. You're not alone. The snow was thick that November afternoon, the kind that muffles the whole world and makes every footstep feel secret. I'd left the design studio early. My boss had looked out the window at the darkening sky and told everyone to beat the blizzard home, and my boots crunched softly up the salted driveway of our craftsman house in the Denver suburbs. From the street it looked perfect. Warm lights glowing behind the windows, the American flag snapping lightly on the porch, our red Highlander parked beside Mark's black Tacoma, both already wearing a thin blanket of white. The fairy lights we'd strung last Christmas were still up because neither of us had bothered to take them down. Mark always said they made the house feel like it was holding its breath for something magical. I slipped inside quietly, shaking flakes from my wool coat, the scent of the vanilla cinnamon candle I'd lit that morning still lingering like a half-remembered promise. I didn't call out. Lily was probably upstairs, earbuds in, lost in homework or the endless scroll of TikTok. At 13 she had turned her bedroom into a private universe. Walls covered in posters of Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, that one K-pop group she could spell but I never could. I hung my keys on the hook by the door, the soft jingle swallowed by the low rumble of the furnace kicking on. That's when I heard her voice, low and urgent, floating down from the landing above. "It's getting worse," she whispered into her phone. "She won't survive another winter like this. I mean, she's barely hanging on now." My heart stuttered. I froze with one hand on the banister, the carved wood cold against my palm. Who was she? Mrs. Ellis next door with the walker and the oxygen tank? Grandma Ruth in Michigan, whose letters had grown shakier each year. But the raw pity in Lily's voice, the fear threading through every word, didn't fit anyone outside these walls. It was too intimate. I took one silent step up the carpeted stairs, then another. The hallway light was dim, the gray afternoon bleeding through the window at the far end. Family photos watched me pass. Lily's gap-toothed kindergarten portrait, Mark and me on our honeymoon in Maui, sunburned and laughing with fruity drinks in hand, the three of us at the top of Pikes Peak last summer, wind whipping our hair into wild halos. Her bedroom door was cracked just enough for sound to escape. "Dad's been super weird too," she continued, voice dropping even lower. "Always working late. I saw texts on his phone once, from this woman named Sarah. Mom doesn't know yet, but when she finds out, God, it'll break her completely." The floor seemed to drop away. Sarah, Mark's coworker from sales, the one with the sharp blazers and the laugh that carried across every company happy hour. The one he'd called his work wife, with a wink I'd always rolled my eyes at. My lungs forgot their job. Lily was talking about me. I was the fragile she, who wouldn't make it through another long Colorado winter. The betrayal slammed into me like a gust of Arctic wind, stealing breath, numbing skin, freezing time. I backed down the stairs on legs that felt borrowed, slipped into the kitchen, and gripped the edge of the granite island until my knuckles went white. The room spun slowly, pendant lights swaying, the fridge humming its indifferent song, the calendar on the wall still open to November with Lily's soccer practice circled in purple marker. That night the blizzard raged outside, wind screaming against the windows like it wanted to get in and finish the job. Mark texted at 10:47 p.m. Asterisk pitch ran long. "Roads are trash. Crashing at the office tonight. Love you." Asterisk I stared at the blue bubble until the screen timed out and went black. The house felt cavernous without him, every creak an accusation. I lay in our king bed alone, staring at the slow turn of the ceiling fan, memories flooding in like uninvited guests. We'd moved to Denver 8 years earlier for his big promotion. Sales director at a growing tech firm, the kind that promised stock options and mountain views. I was 28 then, wide-eyed and exhausted from Chicago winters and freelance hustle, ready to trade late-night client emails for school drop-off lines and a yard big enough for a dog we kept meaning to adopt. Mark was 30, charming as ever, the guy who'd slid into my DMs sophomore year at Illinois State with a dumb meme about graphic design majors and then showed up to my dorm with coffee every finals week. We married at 24 in a small backyard ceremony in my mom's Ohio town. Me in a simple lace dress, him grinning like he'd won the lottery. Lily arrived 2 years later, a screaming miracle after 2 heartbreaking miscarriages, and every milestone since had felt like proof we were doing life right. Summers were pure Americana. Backyard barbecues with neighbors drifting over with potato salad and stories about their kids' travel soccer teams, smoke curling from the grill while classic rock played from Mark's Bluetooth speaker. We'd pack picnics and drive into the Rockies on weekends, spreading a blanket by alpine lakes. Lily skipping stones while Mark and I stole kisses like teenagers. Winters were storybook, sledding down the hill at Ruby Hill Park, coming home rosy-cheeked for hot chocolate loaded with marshmallows, decorating the tree while Michael Bublé crooned from the speakers and the fire crackled. Mark would lift Lily so she could place the star, then pull me close and whisper, "We did good, Em." But somewhere the storybook pages started sticking together. His job grew teeth. Mandatory client dinners at steakhouses with expense account wine lists. Quarterly leadership retreats in Scottsdale or Vegas. "It's for our future," he'd say, kissing my forehead before disappearing in a cloud of cologne. I'd smile, swallow the quiet ache, and throw myself into my own work, designing branding packages for local craft breweries and boutique gyms. Anything flexible enough to let me be the mom who never missed a school play or parent-teacher conference. We still texted dumb memes during the day, still curled up for Netflix at night, still made love when the stars and schedules aligned. It felt like normal marriage evolution, comfortable, predictable, safe. Except safe was apparently an illusion. The next morning the world was buried under 16 inches of heavy, wet snow. Schools closed, roads treacherous. Lily bounded downstairs in mismatched pajamas, hair a wild halo, eyes shining with the rare magic of an unexpected snow day. "Mom, can we make cinnamon rolls from scratch? And build an epic fort?" Her joy was so pure it hurt. I forced brightness into my voice, measuring flour and yeast while my mind replayed her whispered prophecy on an endless loop. Mark texted at noon. Asterisk finally dug out. "Home soon. Miss my girls." Asterisk I typed back drive safe and hit send before the questions clawing at my throat could escape. We spent the day outside together, Lily and I, packing snow into towering walls while neighbors waved from behind frosted windows, shovels scraping driveways in rhythmic scrapes. Her laughter rang across the cul-de-sac, bright and uncomplicated, but every time she glanced at me I caught the shadow of worry she was trying to hide. By late afternoon Mark's truck crunched up the driveway, exhaust pluming in the cold. He stomped in carrying a Starbucks tray, my favorite oat milk latte, extra foam like a peace offering. "There they are," he grinned, hugging Lily tight, brushing snow from her hair then pecking my cheek. His coat carried the faint trace of a perfume I didn't own. I told myself it was from a coworker hug. I was getting good at telling myself things. That evening, after Lily vanished upstairs with her Nintendo Switch and the promise of just one more level, I waited until the dishwasher's hum filled the quiet and the fire in the hearth had settled into steady flames. We were on the couch, some mindless home-flipping show flickering on the TV, when I muted it and turned to him. "We need to talk." He sighed the way he did when I brought up budgeting or vacation planning, mildly annoyed like this was an interruption. "About what, babe?" "Sarah." The name fell between us like a match on dry leaves. His face drained of color, then arranged itself into careful neutrality. "What about Sarah?" "Don't play dumb, Mark." "I know. Lily knows. Texts, hotel charges, late nights. How long have you been sleeping with her?" My voice shook harder than I wanted. He rubbed his temples, stared at the fire. 6 months. Maybe 7. It started as flirting after a big client win. Drinks turned into more. I didn't plan it, Em. Didn't plan it. As if affairs were weather patterns. You didn't plan it? Tears burned hot trails down my cheeks. We have a daughter. 15 years. Vows in front of God and everyone we love. He finally met my eyes, and the truth was there before he spoke. I'm sorry. But I love her. I want a divorce. Love. Not loved. Not a mistake, love. The word gutted me. I stood, the room tilting violently. Get out. My voice broke on the last word. He tried to reach for me. I flinched away like his touch burned. I don't remember the details after that. Screaming, maybe a picture frame knocked off the mantel, glass shattering like everything else. Lily appeared at the top of the stairs in her pajamas, eyes wide with terror. Mark packed an overnight bag while I curled on the couch sobbing, then left for a hotel with promises to figure things out tomorrow civilly for Lily's sake. Civilly. As if anything about having your heart ripped out could ever be civil. The weeks that followed were survival in slow motion. He moved into a sleek one-bedroom downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows and a gym he suddenly had time to use. Lily shuttled between houses with a backpack that seemed to grow heavier each trip, her eyes older every time she came home. Friends descended with casseroles and wine, chicken enchiladas from the neighbor, tiramisu from my coworker Jen, wrapping me in hugs that smelled like vanilla and pity. That little homewrecker. They muttered over pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks, steam fogging the windows while holiday music played too cheerfully overhead. Work became my only solid ground. Client revisions, mood boards, the blue glow of my iMac late into the night, but even their focus fractured. I'd be kerning type and suddenly see hotel receipts instead of letter forms. Christmas arrived like an unwanted guest. The tree stood in the corner half-dressed, lights tangled because I couldn't reach the top without him on the ladder. Lily spent Christmas Eve with Mark and, though he swore she wasn't there, Sarah. I sat alone on the couch with a bottle of Cabernet and a Hallmark movie I didn't watch, scrolling his new Instagram stories. Him and Sarah at the Denver Christkindl Market, her in a red beret, his arm around her waist, caption making new memories. I hurled my phone. It hit the wall with a crack but didn't die. Resilient little bastard. Like me apparently, cracked but still functioning. January brought the deepest cold and the darkest nights. One evening the temperature dropped to -10, pipes groaning in the walls, Lily at a friend's for a sleepover. The silence pressed in until I couldn't breathe. I dug out the leather-bound journal I hadn't touched since art school and wrote until my hand cramped and tears blurred the ink. *I am the woman my daughter thinks won't survive winter. I am 36 years old and my life is in ruins. But ruins can be excavated. Ruins can become foundations. Therapy started the following Monday. Dr. Ramirez's office was warm and quiet, plants trailing from shelves, tissues within easy reach. Betrayal trauma is its own beast, she said gently as I sobbed through the entire first session. You're grieving not just a person, but the future you thought you had. We unpacked layers I'd buried for years. Marrying young because it felt safe after a chaotic childhood, sidelining dreams of gallery shows and travel for carpools and mortgage payments, mistaking familiarity for forever. I started small rebellions. Early morning runs on snowy trails, breath fogging in clouds, playlists of angry female anthems pounding in my ears. The weight I'd carried since pregnancy melted away, but more importantly, the fog in my head began to lift. Work noticed the shift. In February, my creative director called me into her corner office, city skyline glittering behind her. You've been on fire lately, she said. Sharp, fearless. We're giving you lead on the Rocky Mountain Credit Union rebrand full campaign, your vision. I stared stunned. You sure? She laughed. I've never been surer. Spring crept in with crocuses punching through lingering snow. I joined a book club of mostly divorced or divorcing women who met at a cozy wine bar in Lodo. Plush velvet chairs, candlelight flickering on bottles of Malbec, laughter too loud as we dissected novels about women who burned everything down and built better. I downloaded Hinge on a dare from Jen, went on awkward coffee dates that ended in polite hugs and "you're great but" texts. Then Nate happened. A high school history teacher with kind eyes and a dry sense of humor who quoted Hamilton unironically. We hiked Chautauqua on our third date, wildflowers blooming along the trail, Boulder's flatirons rising dramatic against the sky. He didn't push, he just listened while I talked about the divorce without crying for the first time. We saw each other through summer farmers markets on Saturday mornings, concerts at Red Rocks under star-strewn skies, but I kept one foot back. I wasn't ready to hand my heart over again, and for the first time that felt like strength, not failure. Lily and I rebuilt our own rituals. Friday nights became sacred. Homemade pizza dough tossed on the flowered island, toppings argued over with giggles, Marvel movies on the couch with blankets piled high. One rainy May evening she crawled into my bed like she did when she was 5, thunderstorm rumbling outside. "I'm so sorry I said that stuff on the phone," she whispered into my shoulder. "I was scared you'd fall apart." I held her close, breathing in the strawberry scent of her shampoo. "You saved me, baby girl." Hearing that woke me up. I'm not falling apart anymore. The divorce finalized in June under a blazing sun. We signed papers in a sterile conference room downtown, lawyers flanking us like referees. I kept the house, primary custody, enough support to exhale for the first time in years. Mark looked thinner, tired, the charm dimmed. "We can still be friends someday," he offered weakly as we stood to leave. I almost laughed. "We can be excellent co-parents. That's plenty." Revenge wasn't the dramatic movie montage I sometimes fantasized about. No slash tires or viral callouts. It was quieter, more satisfying. During discovery, my lawyer uncovered bonuses he'd quietly redirected. Expenses funneled to impress Sarah. Hotels, jewelry. A weekend in Napa he'd called a vendor conference. The judge didn't like it. Settlement terms shifted dramatically in my favor. Sarah's fast-track promotion stalled when HR received an anonymous packet detailing policy violations. Timesheets that didn't match hotel charges. Emails sent during sick days. She transferred to a satellite office in Kansas by fall. They broke up in August. Mutual friends whispered it was mutual but ugly. Mark started showing up early for Lily's events, eyes lingering on the house like he missed the life he'd thrown away. I didn't rub it in. I just lived bigger, brighter, unapologetically. Fall painted the aspens gold, then winter returned, this time gentle, not savage. Snow fell soft and steady one December evening while Lily and I decorated the tree, untangling lights with laughter instead of tears. Cocoa steaming on the counter scented with peppermint schnapps I didn't have to hide anymore. Mark dropped by Christmas Eve with gifts and stayed for cocoa. Conversation careful but warm. Lily beaming between us like a bridge neither of us deserved, but she offered anyway. Later Nate picked me up in his Jeep, City Lights tour planned. Downtown Denver aglow with holiday displays. Us sipping spiked hot chocolate from thermoses, my hand warm in his as snowflakes melted on the windshield. I opened my journal one last time that night, curled on the couch with the tree lights twinkling and the house quiet except for the soft hush of snow against windows. December 14, 2025. Another winter is here. The one Lily feared I wouldn't survive. But look at me. Standing taller, breathing deeper, living fiercer than I ever have. This house is ours now, filled with new laughter and old memories that no longer cut. Lily was wrong, thank God. I didn't just survive another winter. I learned how to dance in it. And the music? It's mine to choose now. Outside, the snow kept falling, soft, forgiving, endless. Inside, for the first time in a long time, I wasn't cold at all.